All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here once again. We are doing another Westcott and Hort video. We've got some more to go. We're in Luke. We'll be getting to some verses in John in the next installment of these in the series. But we're in Luke 24:49. I'm going to go ahead and jump it right in because today is Sunday. And I know a lot of people with family on Sunday and that spend time. So I'll make this a shorter episode. So we can get right into it. Hopefully, I make it shorter. You never know. Sometimes I go down a rabbit hole or get a little long winded. Let's just jump right into it. I'm going to take this off here. Oh, that's me. Hi, good to see you. All right, Luke 24:49. I hope you're enjoying the series that we've been doing here, exposing the changes and the destruction of the verse of the King James, and also to point out the fact that a lot of modern Catholic Bibles are lockstep with Westcott and Hort. So I think that's pretty important to understand. All right, King James Version, Luke 24:49, and it reads, "And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem until ye be endued with power from on high." What is going to be missing here is Jerusalem. So we're going to go ahead and go right over here and scroll down. Because in my opinion, God gave specific instructions to wait in Jerusalem, not some generic city. I think by putting a generic city there, you open the door for future scholars to insert any city or not even focus on Jerusalem at all. You see that in a lot of verses that go off of things and omit things so they don't concentrate on the importance of those things, and they get sometimes diluted, missing, and you get so far from the truth, far from the actual scriptures, and then now you have to rely on the priests in a Catholic church and so forth, and you can't rely on the Bible anymore because they create all these modern Bibles, and over time it's just a mass confusion. Those who are not pushed away from the hypocrisy and the destruction of the Bible, they are going to be absolutely confused and not understand when they go from one Bible to another Bible and they go, "Oh man, pastor, preacher, priest, explain this to me. I don't understand. Is there a word missing? Is it not a word missing?" And I think that's why I'll always stay with the King James Bible, because it's so clear and so obvious. So we go now into the revised version, the Westcott Hort version, 1881. "And behold, I send forth the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city until ye be clothed with power from on high." There's your beginning of this change. And it is in the previous Bibles. Before King James, as we all know, King James is the last purified Bible, in my opinion. Even before that, when you get into Matthews and Wycliffe and so forth, it's there. Darby version, "And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but do ye remain in the city till ye be clothed with power from on high." Now, we've talked about Darby version, how sometimes he's holding on to some of the King James and trying to hold on to, he's trying to mix the Westcott Hort and King James together. But sometimes, as you see here, he stays with the Westcott Hort idea. You go to the American Standard Version, the ESV, 1901, which I do actually have a first printing of that. Westcott and Hort, "And behold, I send forth the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city until ye be clothed with power from on high." Well, see, it pretty much matches right up, and a lot of people already know that the ASV is going to be almost a direct copy. Excuse me. Now we get the Emphasized Bible of 1902, which is also based off the Westcott and Hort as well. "And lo, I am sending forth the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry ye in the city until ye be clothed from on high with power." Interesting how it puts things. There's no "and behold," there's "and lo." So if you're following, I say this all the time, if you're following Westcott and Hort, if you're using their template, then you're just adding what you want out there. Westcott and Hort's version busted down the door and gave the open, or the go ahead, the pioneers they were, of doing whatever you wanted to the Bible. You can do whatever you want now. You don't have to stick to what the truth was and what the Bible said before. You can make it say what you want. You can change the words if you want. You can rearrange the grammatical syntax. You can do all of what you want. And you can thank Westcott Hort for that, for the destruction and confusing. And as we all know, as the old saying goes, God is not the author of confusion. Revised Standard Version 1946 is the Westcott Hort, and now we have, we know for sure here that the Nestle Aland was used also, 25th edition, which was based directly upon WH. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but stay in the city until ye are clothed with power from on high. Again, we don't have Jerusalem. And yes, this may be repetitive, but I think it should be known, and we should understand this, of the vast difference we find. How could you not be skeptical? Skeptical? Wow, there's some proper English for you. How can you not be skeptical of the massive changes and the rearranging of paragraphs, sentences, periods where question marks would have been, or question mark where periods would have been? I don't know how one cannot question that. You have the Bible in Basic English 1949. I'm going to end up removing that in the future because not a lot of people even look at that. That's not even a thing anymore. But I mean, it's here for the Westcott Hort. We know where they get their information from. But it's a little bit different because they condense it to a minimum amount of words in the English language. So in the future, you'll see probably that removed off of there. We'll stick with the ones that we know of, people that are still using today, so they understand where they come from. New World Translation, 1950 was the edition on that one. They use the Westcott Hort as well. And look, I am sending upon you what my Father promised you. Though stay in the city until you are clothed with power from high. Stay in the city. Well, we all know it's Jerusalem, but we could change that at any point in time. That's why when there's a specific word or specific instructions, a specific city, because it makes it clear. I know people will say, like, well, we know it's Jerusalem. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I don't know when the catching away is, but 30 years from 40 years, or whenever it may be, as we see, the Bibles have changed throughout time, right? Throughout 1881 and on, we've gone through 129 years, whatever it is, 139. I'm not doing the math real good in my head right now. But 1934, 134 years, okay? It's been changing massively, along with the Catholic Bibles, the modern Catholic Bibles. I always find that humorous in a way, in a sad way, I guess you'd say, because Catholics, oh, we got the Bible and you got all these versions. And then you're looking at them going, you realize your Catholic Bibles don't even say the same as the creme de la creme Douay Rheims. That's just a fact. All right, Amplified Bible 1965, Westcott Hort, Nestle Aland, 26th edition. Listen carefully. I am sending the promise of my Father, the Holy Spirit, upon you. But you are to remain in the city of Jerusalem until ye are clothed, fully equipped with power from on high. You see how they do that? Now, I was going to pull down the Amplified Bible. Should I pull down the Amplified Bible? I don't want to make this. I'm not going to pull it down. Because those parentheses are not always there. I just want to make that point. Some places it shows up, and some places it does not in the Amplified Bible. All right, RSV Catholic Version 1965, Westcott Hort, Nestle Aland, 26th edition. So same as the Amplified Bible, so it'll match up perfectly. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. Oh, it doesn't match up perfectly. What a shocker. I bet you didn't see that coming. Spoiler, I guess, alert there. But you see that they keep on changing it. Well, King James did too. No, it did not do it in the sense that this does. You stop with the spelling because something was spelled differently. Scholars consider it's an error when it was not. Perfect example. I was just talking to somebody about this at work the other day. When it comes to Jesus, James, the J, you see the word I. Sometimes you see the letter H as well, but you'll see the letter. I said word I, letter I. because J was coming out of Italy at that point, and it didn't quite make it to England by 1611. So that letter wasn't fully there. So that's why you see in 1611 Iesus instead of Jesus. But even though you see that, it's not an error, because someone in that time frame would have been reading it as Jesus. They would not have been reading it as Iesus. Silly scholars just want to mess with your head. All right, RSV Catholic Version. Retired. They should retire. Revised Standard Version, the Catholic Version. 1965. Westcott Hort, Nestle-Aland, 26th edition. I think I'm talking fast because I wanted to make this short today, because I know people are busy and I don't want to take up too much of folks' time. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. Again, let's not point out it's Jerusalem. And again, that doesn't match that, does it? So we see that the Amplified Bible doesn't match the New World Translation. The Amplified Bible does not match the RSV Catholic Version, even though they're using the same 26th edition of Nestle-Aland, but somehow it doesn't match. Again, Westcott Hort gave that license for them to corrupt whatever they want, change it whenever they feel like it. They don't care about the Bible. They don't care about the words of God. They don't. New American Bible, 1970. It would be a Catholic version, because they got the Catholics. It's been okayed by the Catholic Church. And behold, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you, but stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. What edition is that? 26th edition? There you go. The New International Version, you will find it in 1976, 1984, 2011, the three major editions where supposed changes happened. But in all those editions, this still reads the same, at least in my paper copies. I am going to send you what my Father has promised, but stay in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high. Easy to read version, which I probably will most likely eliminate this one as well, because that's not a popular one. It's not one that a lot of people are going with these days, so there's no reason to expose this, because it's very rarely used. But for today, we're using it. Easy to read version, Nestle-Aland 26th edition as well. Remember that I will send you the one my Father promised. Stay in the city until you are given that power from heaven. Now, again, we know there's a lot of Bibles. I could put 300 different versions here. We can go through them, but I'm not doing that. I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. The REB, the Revised English Bible, 1989, which was just a revision of the New English Bible, but they both read the same thing, so I'm not sure what the revisions were. Nestle-Aland, 26th edition. And look, I am going to send the promise of my Father upon you. As for you, stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. And we get to the New Living Translation, 1996, Nestle-Aland, 20th edition. And now I will send the Holy Spirit, just as my Father promised. But stay here in the city until the Holy Spirit comes and fills you with power from heaven. Still Jerusalem not mentioned. English Standard Version, 2001, Nestle-Aland, 20th edition. And behold, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you, but stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. And then we get to the Legacy Standard Bible in 2021, using the 28th edition as well as the English, ESV, and yet they don't match. And behold, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you, but you are to stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. Does that match perfectly? No. Until you are clothed power from high, until you are clothed power from on high. So we see that all these versions keep on changing to some degree. Why am I scrolling? Well, I try to scroll the scroller to stay in spot there. It's a license. Westcott Hort gave the light. They opened the door. They opened the door to be able to change a lot of these Bibles. And then obviously with the Vatican Council too, they really opened the door. They they've even flooded the market more with the matching of Protestant and Catholic Bibles. So when you are reading the English Standard Version, you might as well just go pick yourself up a Catholic Bible at the same time, because you're sleeping in the same bed. That's all there is to it. So those who say, "Oh, I don't like the Catholics, and I'm against the Catholic Church. I'm absolutely opposed to the Catholic Church," are you? Because you seem to be involved in the same traditions as the Catholic Church. So you're reading the same exact words. You're not reading the King James, that's for sure. You're lining up with the Catholic Church when you read these modern Bibles. Coexist until you don't exist. That's exactly what is happening. Bring them all together. They got such a mishmash Bible. Maybe one day the Antichrist will go, I've settled it. I've got them all together. We've got one Bible. We have now one Bible that you shall read. And I guarantee you it's not going to be the King James Bible. Ain't no way Antichrist was going to want that one. I do think there's such an attack on the King James Bible, more so than any other version. That's a fact. That is a fact. All right. Well, I thank you for your time as usual. I appreciate it as always. I'm always thankful that you're able to stop by and watch one of these videos. I hesitate and I try not to do the whole click subscribe and all that jazz and hit the like button. But I hope this has been helpful. You don't have to hit the subscribe button. You don't have to hit the like button. But if you think this is helpful and you want to share it, I pray that you do that and share it with someone you think it'll help them see these differences in almost black and white. It's yellow, green, and black and white. But other than that, I appreciate it. I really do. 16 minutes in, I tried to make a promise here to make it shorter today. With that, God bless and have a beautiful day.